The /etc/nsswitch.conf file defines the default order for services that use multiple sources to get information. For example, the resolver service uses the hosts file and resolver systems to get the IP address of a name. Which source it uses first is defined in this file. If the service uses both sources, this file defines the order in which the service uses them. This line defines the default source order for the resolver service. As we can see here, it uses two sources, files and DNS. The option files denotes the hosts file. The option DNS denotes the resolver system. The resolver service processes this order from left to right. To resolve a name or an IP address, it first checks the hosts file. If it finds the answer in the hosts file, it does not check the resolver system. It checks the resolver system for the name resolution only if it doesn't get the answer from the hosts file. Let's understand it through an example. Check the /etc/hosts and the /etc/resolve.conf files. By default, the hosts file has only one entry for the name localhost. Localhost is the default name for the local system. If you don't configure or remove all configured host names from the local system uses this name as the default host name. The resolve.conf file saves a list of DNS servers or resolver systems IP addresses. If the resolver service does not find an entry for a name or an IP address in the hosts file, it sends a query to all configured DNS servers or resolver systems in a sequence until it finds the answer. This order is defined in the /etc/nsswitch.conf file. To understand how this order works, let's open the browser and access Google's website. The browser checks the /etc/hosts file to find the IP address associated with the name google.com. Since the hosts file does not have an entry for the name google.com, it checks the /etc/resolve.conf file to find the resolver system's IP address. If the resolver system's IP address is configured in this file, it creates a name resolution query and sends it to the resolver system. The resolver system finds the IP address associated with the name google.com and shares that IP address with the requester system. This is the default order the resolver service follows on the local system for the name resolution. If you want to change this order or modify the action the resolver service should take at any source in the sequence, you need to update the nsswitch.conf file. You have 4 options to change the default action it takes at every source in the sequence. These options are success, not found, unavailable, and try again. You have 2 values for these options. These values are return and continue. Let's understand the meanings of these options. The first option is success. The default value of this option is the return. This option with the default value says if the resolver service finds the information it is looking for from the source, it should not check the next source. The second option is not found. The default value of this option is continue. This option with the default value says if the resolver service does not find the information it is looking for from the source, it should check the next available source in the sequence. The third option is unavailable. The default value of this option is continue. This option with default value says if the source is down or not available, the resolver service should check the next available source in the sequence. The fourth option is try again. The default value of this option is continue. This option with default value says if the source is too busy or unable to answer the query, the resolver service should check the next available source in the sequence. Let's take an example to understand how to use these options to modify the default behavior. Open a new terminal. Since this file controls the default order of many services, you should always take a backup of this file before modifying or updating it. If you have a backup copy, you can restore the original file from it in case anything goes wrong. Now let's open the file. Go to the line that controls the default order for the resolver service. Here the hosts file is defined as the first source. Because of this, the resolver service first checks the hosts file. If it finds the entry for a name in the hosts file, it does not check the resolver system for that name. If it does not find the entry for a name in the hosts file, it checks the next source for that name. Here the next source is the resolver system. Now suppose we want to modify the default behavior at the first source. We want that the resolver service does not check the next source if it does not find the answer in the host's file. The second option defines the default action the resolver service takes if it does not find the answer in the source. The default value of this option is continue, which allows the resolver service to check the next source in the sequence. If we change this value to return, the resolver service will not check the next source if it does not find the answer in the source. Let's change the default value of the second option and save the file. Verify the change. As we can see here, the default action of the not found option has been changed. Restart the browser. Now access the internet again. As you can see here, now we cannot access the internet. To access the internet, the resolver service needs to access the resolver system. With the current configuration, the resolver service can't access the resolver system. It can access only the host's file. If the host's file does not have information about a name, it is not allowed to check the next source. The resolver system is the next source. The resolver service can access it only if the default action of the not found option is set to continue. Let's remove the custom value of the second option. For this, you can edit the file again or can restore the original file from the backup. To use the default value of an option, you don't need to specify the option. By default, the resolver service uses the default value of each option. Now restart the browser and access the internet again. As you can see here, now we can access the internet again. It verifies that the resolver service follows the order specified in the nsswitch.conf file. By using this file, you can customize the order the resolver service uses for the name resolution. That's all for this video. If you have any comments, suggestions, or feedback about this video, please share them in the comment section given below.